Hello, Rosalinda. Hi.
Hello, Francesca.
I'm so happy to seeing you again. It's a while, and I'm very happy and glad that you have accepted my invitation for my little interview. And as I was mentioning you before, it's just a way to keep in touch with people that are working with photography and therapeutic photography around the world. And just like to keep in touch and to know what you doing, what is that you like to do best with photography, with which kind of clients and type of people you work and why, and what do you do. Anything that could be interesting for us to learn from. If you want to introduce yourself first, and then
Mhm.
something about like how do you use therapeutic photography
Yes.
and anything else. Thank
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Francesca, first of all, for the invitation. I'm very happy for that. And um, I feel very anxious when I have this kind of challenges. Uh, First of all, because it's in English, of course, but because I feel very validated, and it's very important for me because sometimes I feel a little bit alone
you.
doing my journey along this way of therapeutic photography. And it's a huge pleasure and being acknowledged by people as you that I've done training with. It's really, really good for me. So thank you very much for the invitation. I'm
Thank you.
being very honest about that. So um, I am Portuguese. I live in Portugal. My name is Rosalinda, and I'm a clinical psychologist. Um, and I've been working since the very beginning, always with communities and people that are in uh, disadvantaged situations. So very soon during my practice, even in my clinical practice, I have knowledge that it would be very important when we can go out of our traditional therapy contexts.
Mhm.
So for me, being a clinical psychologist is much more than doing individual appointments. And I think it's very useful that we are in very many places, different places, helping people, helping the teams as well, to discover new ways of treating each other. I mean, um, I think I focus a lot in human relationship, let's say. So as I was telling, and it might happen that I get lost, so please help me, Francesca. Don't
Don't worry.
be afraid of interrupting me. I was very interested in discover in the different places I was working, how could I work with people, sometimes even not working directly with them, but helping the environment to support,
Mhm.
to empower, to promote some skills that are necessary. And I was discovering that, and I was also always very interested about non-formal education
Mhm.
or non-formal learning, and also the use of arts and creativity along the way.
Uh-huh.
So I was doing, I don't know, a lot of trainings along the way. I was discovering new things. I was trying different things, things such as theater of the oppressed, for example. I was doing also trainings in mindfulness and so on. But I was not feeling like, okay, I know I want to work with this kind of population and this kind of um, contexts,
Mhm.
environments, but I haven't found myself in it yet. So
Okay.
in 2014, a new master here in Portugal in Leiria had opened about intervention through arts, intervention and animation through arts. So it was not a master for psychologists only, was for everyone. There are some kind of educator or social worker who might use to want this kind of techniques, non-formal techniques, with people who are not artists. So how can we use arts to work with non-artist people, and which kind of things we are helping to develop, mostly related with self-knowledge, I think, and discovering the sense of identity. within myself and where I put myself within the community and the group as well. So during this master, I was having classes like creative dancing, theater, and blah, blah, blah. And I was loving it. It was learning by doing. So we were being participants in the activities, but then we were talking about it and reflecting about it and raising questions about the process. But I was still very uncertain and not feeling comfortable because I didn't think myself as an artist. But then we had the class of photography. And I had a workshop at the same time about photo voice. And I was very, very interested. And it was a new world for me, discovering that I could explore these ideas that I had and what I learned by other projects and other people using arts and creativity, but through photography in particular, because I was born in the middle of photography. My father is an amateur photographer, so he always had a lot of cameras and material related with photography. When I was young, I was watching him dealing with analogic photography and revelations and so on. And so I felt very comfortable with photography, which I didn't with any other of
Tool.
the artistic languages.
Okay,
So I started thinking about that. I discovered photo voice. I found it very similar to theater of the oppressed, because I mean, it comes from the same kind of pedagogy of Paulo Freire, who believes that the thinking and reflection is the only way to search for freedom,
Wow.
to to develop the possibility of really empower communities to get themselves rid of oppressed relationships. The only way is through education and thinking and reflection. So photo voice, I saw it a little bit like that, and I identify myself a lot with. So I developed in 2015, 2016, my first photo voice project. I was working with elderly people in the time in association. So I've done this um, development of this project using photo voice techniques, trying to be as traditional as they propose. And I've done it with elderly people who didn't know how to photograph. They never touched a camera before. They were in this retirement home. They couldn't read, they couldn't write, but we were doing for 3, 4 months. We were working, discovering what was important for them as people who live in the retirement home in a rural area in the west part of Portugal, how they found themselves. And it was very important step for me. That's why I'm talking about this. And I really believe that it makes sense. So after this, I just decided I wanted to learn more, and starting to use more and more photography and images to work with people. And I started to do trainings after that. So in 2020, there was the pandemic scene, but I already had decided that I wanted to change in my career, and I wanted to not continue to work in this kind of context, only in this context of working with elderly people. I was coordinating the institution and so on. I didn't want that anymore. And I wanted to really work on projects and with communities using non-formal education, specifically with photography. And by this, the project Desphoco, Photography and Wellbeing, just was born in 2021. And that's it. So I'm still a clinical psychologist. I work still with communities. I also work nowadays I do clinical. I work in, we call it a street team related to helping people who use drugs. So in Portugal, there are these programs of risk reduction and minimization of damage, and we work in the streets. We also have a methadone program, but we work with this kind of people who are using drugs, but they want some help, and we try to help them in where we can, and also to try to facilitate the conditions for people to promote change.
Nice.
So that's it. That's what I do. I also have Desphoco. I don't know if you want me to talk just a little bit about Desphoco and what we
Yes,
do.
please, go ahead.
So I will try to summarize. So by all this journey that I was making it helped me to see more clearly what I wanted to do. And I want to work with photography to help people to know themselves better in a way they can control more the process and they can decide about themselves. So it's not a psychologist who runs the process, it's a facilitator who tries to create the better conditions for people to feel safe and to feel comfortable in order to be able to feel uncomfortable and discover more about themselves and put more questions on the table about themselves. So Desfoco is about this. It's a project who wants to focus in the use of photography as a way of intentionally promote self-awareness and self-knowledge within myself or within a community.
Okay.
So I used to divide in 3 main groups our aims and objectives. So in one hand, we do all the kind of therapeutic activities. So we have to understand that we are still a newborn project. We are going slowly, but for now we are doing mainly smaller workshops for everyone who wants to know more about themselves. And we use techniques as self-portrait or just therapeutic photography in general, but we do kind of activities such as autobiography illustration or stuff like that. Our main aim is to develop longer courses or individual mentoring for people who want to run this process in a way we can really promote some change.
Okay.
So this is our idea. So with the workshops now, we want to go on the direction of developing longer courses or individual mentoring or such.
Is it online or in presence?
Well, we do mostly in presence here in Caldas da Rainha, city in the west coast of Portugal. We also try to do online, and we are starting to do it more, still in smaller sessions. For now, just in Portuguese, but we are very open to the possibility of doing it in English as well. And also we are, like going along the way and trying to discover how this works and how can we sell these projects, because this part of Desphoco, it's for everyone in general, in a sense that we can offer therapeutic activities and therapeutic possibilities of people to be in touch with themselves, where they can choose what kind of approaches they can use, but also what kind of needs. So we would like to go along the way and see how we can develop this more and more.
Okay, so like the people that come to you are like more often like photographers, amateur photographers, or like people just like they don't want to go to therapy and they come like to work on themselves through another video.
It's very funny, because first I thought the main public would be social workers. Not that many. So some people are social workers who wants to know more about these activities, this kind of way of working, but mostly I think we are having a lot of photographers or artists who wants to know more about themselves and feel comfortable within photography, but also who are tired. They say a lot that they are tired of doing photography in the way they do to sell the product. So a lot of the people who search for Desphoco are looking for new ways of looking within themselves to help them produce more artistic work, or
Okay.
sometimes to work with communities as well.
Okay.
And then we have people in general who just are, some of these people are doing therapy, some of them are not, but they feel like they want to promote something in themselves. And this is one of our biggest aims. I mean, I used to say, like, in the way that people understand nowadays, that it's very useful if we take care of our physical health and go to the gym or running or something like that. And as a society, we are getting more, we are normalizing this idea that we have to take care of our physical health. I would like to find a place in society where we also promote this about mental health. So I'm doing therapy or I'm not, but I want to, in my daily routine, use therapeutic techniques who help me to get in touch with myself.
Okay.
This
Wow.
is the idea. So
Okay.
the other two aims is to facilitate training for
Mm-hmm.
technicians who are interested in using these techniques as well. And it's very important for me for people to recognize the Desphoco as a project who knows what they're doing and that invites people. So I really like to invite a lot of people, not only about me facilitating workshops, who really knows what they're doing in their fields. And by that, they can help people to know more about it and doing this kind of trainings for technicians. And on the third big aim, it's the community projects, of course, that
Yes.
we want to use therapeutic photography or photo voice and participatory photography to
Mhm.
help communities to get the conditions to empower themselves and create better conditions of life.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, complimenti, I would say in Italian. Congratulations.
Thank you.
It's a really big project, no? Like doing like therapy and trainings and social change, promoting social change for photographers. And like, let me go back to the techniques that you're using. So you're mainly using self-portrait and family albums, you were saying, like family that
No, we use, well, I was talking about the self-portrait because I think
universal, I'd say.
it's huge, but it's at the same time people are very interested in this theme and it's a very good starting point. And I started recently, I've done a workshop recently about self-portrait with a photographer that I've met here in Portugal, who've been working abroad as well, but in the late years, she's in Portugal. And she's a photographer, but she's very into it, therapeutic photography. She has a lot of personal experiences, so it's been decades she's using it with herself, but she also was searching for knowledges and reading and doing trainings to learn more about this. So, of course, self-portrait. I mean, every photography is a self-portrait, so of course it's a very good starting point. But we use some therapeutic techniques that they will drink for Judy Weiser phototherapy techniques. So my idea is to, then again, doing individual and shorter workshops within these themes, like collage. We can do a workshop about collage. We are programming to do that
Okay.
after the summer, but I would also like to use family albums. But the idea is to really develop longer courses where we can
Amazing.
use all of these kind of techniques. The huge difference here
Uh-huh.
is that we are not in a therapy contest. So we work with groups mainly. For now, we work with groups. And the idea is that we facilitate some exercises to
Mm-hmm.
help people to explore the themes that come up from the photographies or from the images that we are working with. But we are not there to treat people or to cure or to solve a specific problem. We are there to help people to develop better strategies of observing, of
Uh-huh.
noticing what's happening within,
Mm-hmm.
to be more aware, to be acknowledged of what's happening, of their behavioral patterns, and by that, trying to facilitate the changing process
Mm-hmm.
within. Okay. In therapy, I use some techniques.
Uh-huh.
I don't consider myself doing phototherapy because I still think I don't have the specific knowledge to do the process. I mean, I haven't done it yet from the beginning to the end, let's say.
Okay.
So when I found people who are very, it's motivating. The last person 3 weeks ago, I used this kind of techniques of, answering questions, for example, with a photograph or trying to express an emotion through an image.
Mm-hmm.
The person was very surprised. She was getting to the next appointment really motivated because, within the simple exercises that people can control and have fun at the same time, they can feel a lot of things. They think as well, but they can feel it, and they can feel it outside of the therapy context. And I think this is somehow surprising for patients. So I was thinking it was very funny for me to be to look at this person and how excited he was. He's a person that is very curious about themselves, about understanding things in general, and like, oh, I never thought I could do this. I never thought I could do this through photography, and I can use photography to discover more about myself. And he
Mm-hmm.
was really enthusiastic, and I was really happy with him because, you just facilitate an exercise and you are somehow giving something new, some new possibility, some new way of exploration and looking at things. So yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, like you perfectly described the surprise that the
Yeah,
client perceives when something works well with the
yes.
photographs, and when they find themselves working within them without having programmed to do so, kind of.
And more than that, I think what is surprising sometimes it's that people who arrive to the psychology appointment, they don't feel comfortable about feeling some
Mhm.
emotions that they identify themselves as not bad emotions. They say that they are bad emotions. So during the process, we want to develop this idea their emotions are not good or bad, uh, but showing to someone using an image or something else. It could be something else, but we are working with photography. So by being in relationship with the act of photographing, somehow, suddenly people realize they are in relation with these emotions they don't want to
Mhm.
feel, but everything is okay. So I'm sad, but it's okay. I'm feeling despair, but it's being funny at the same time. And it's amazing when we can just not talk about it. We can show this. It's okay to feel things and to
Yeah.
explore these emotions, to explore the sensations. So yeah.
Thank you. Like you really describe very well the process of the client. It's very nice. So, like, tell me something. How would people be able to contact you? Like, do you have a
Mhm.
website for your school? Can we call it school?
I never
It's
thought
a
about it as a school, but no, I don't think it is a school. I would like to, I don't know. We call it a project, but I think
project.
it's like I would like to be some kind of identity in
Okay.
Portugal that people can identify that, okay, they work with photography,
Okay.
They are serious people. They have a theoretical scientific background, but they are also informal, funny, and have a good approach that people can search for us and just being in touch and being in relationship and feeling comfortable and safe. So we have a physical shared atelier. I don't know how you say
Atelier.
it.
Okay.
In Caldas da Rainha, the city where I live.
Okay.
We share with some friends of mine who are from the arts field as well, but they don't do photography, but they help me in this process. So they are related with architecture and interior design. So the space itself, it's very cozy and comfortable. When we host people for the workshops, it's one of the things that I'm proud of. It's that they can really just feel, okay, I can take my shoes off. I can go to the couch or to the floor to the chair. We have a little balcony where people can go and smoke a cigarette or go to the other place and drink some tea. So
Okay.
it's very important
Very
to
inviting.
assure this kind of, to be this kind of invitation. And that's the other thing that is important, that people can feel this as an invitation. So we don't have to come to this. You are invited to. And from this, the mindfulness trainings that I had along the way, especially with the Bangor University in Wales, they are really good in mindfulness techniques. All the things that I've learned about facilitating groups, now they are coming to sense when I'm doing these projects. So we don't have a website yet. I hope we are working in this during the next year. We have an Instagram and Facebook page. It's also very easy to get in touch with them, to arrange a meeting online if someone wants to know more about the project. We are trying to do some applications in Portugal to finance to support community projects. We are not an NGO. We are kind of
business.
We are social entrepreneur business who wants to sell mental health, but also doing work with communities and institutions, work in social institutions, but also to have an honest relationship with this. So for now, I've been choosing not to be an NGO, but it's very important for me to people who feel it like we are okay, it's this project, it's mine,
Okay.
but it's mine in relationship with the world. So everyone is invited to come. Even you, when we
Wonderful.
started with the
I can't wait to participate.
you don't know, but you are in my 3 top choices, starting with the English online courses. So
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you.
pay
I want to
attention to
carry in
this.
presents. I want to drink the tea in this cozy place you are describing.
One of the things that I would love to do, and we've talked about it before, we are going very slowly, and because I'm working in one hand, I have to work and have money to pay bills as well. And I also, I need to work with other people and have this kind of being in this kind of projects within the community. I really like to do it. So sometimes it takes me time for Desphoco itself. But on the other hand, I feel like Portuguese people are, the culture are not still very open to this kind of activities. I mean, it's not they are closed, but they are still not doing it like
It's okay. That
full
takes
time.
time. I
It
understand.
takes time.
It takes time.
But in one day, I would really like, okay, this is what we do, and we do all kind of activities that use photography as a way to promote well-being in general. So of course, I would love to do someday, how do you say, to, like have a weekend
Retreat.
retreat, a
Wonderful.
retreat
With
about
some
this
yoga
kind.
tool.
Yeah, like every good things, like being in the lagoon, watching the sunset, doing yoga.
Tell me
But
when.
like I've been doing a lot of retreats, and now I think it works. It would work
It's very
so
intense.
well with
Yes,
photography. I would love
I
to try
agree.
it and to promote this kind of, going out of yourself for a few days and being in touch with yourself, but using photography. I think it's perfect.
Okay, so like I really wish you all the best with your projects that
Thank
are
you.
already like growing fast and in a wonderful direction. And we can't wait to come and see you. And I will put the indication for your
Yeah.
Instagram page then.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you
Okay.
so much. Thank you
And
so
I'll see
much.
you soon.
Thank you so much, Francesca. I'm very happy
Thank
for
you.
your invitation, and we'll see you
My
soon.
pleasure. My pleasure. Ciao, Rosalinda.
Ciao,
Take care.
ciao, bye bye. Thank you.
Ciao.